name is Cookie, a South African travel content creator, and in this vlog, I am in my home country, South Africa, and I am in my favorite city in the whole world, Cape Town. Cape Town was crowned the best city in the world by Time Out. In this vlog, we are exploring this beautiful city. We'll eat some African food and visit historic places. Time Out named Bangkok in Thailand the second best city in the world, and New York City came in third. Let's head out and explore the 2025 best city in the world. Table Mountain is a natural wonder. So if you're planning a trip to Cape Town, please make sure you go up Table Mountain. Going up the mountain depends on the weather, right? It's a mountain because sometimes it is covered with a tablecloth. So just wake up and check on the website if the mountain is open, and then you can go up there. I suggest you do this as one of your first activities in Cape Town, weather permitting. If you miss out on going up the mountain on a beautiful clear day like today, where visibility is good once you're up the mountain, you may end up going up on a day where visibility is poor, or you might end up not going up at all because the cable car service is closed because the weather is not good at all. The moral of the story: during your trip, reserve a beautiful clear day like today for Table Mountain. Mountain is a part of South African national parks. It is a nature reserve, so picking of flowers and plants is prohibited. So you cannot do that. What I love about traveling is the physical activity that comes with sightseeing. There are pathways that show you where to walk, so we will walk as much as we can and then sit down for something to drink before we go down the mountain. There is a restaurant up here. You want to see what the top of Table Mountain looks like? Well, continue watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscription is free. Please subscribe. We arrived here around about 9:30 and we waited 45 minutes to come up the mountain. And the weather is gorgeous. It is not too hot. It is just perfect. Too perfect. This is Robben Island, where political prisoners were kept during apartheid. Nelson Mandela spent 18 years of his 27 years at Robben Island. He was then transferred to another prison to serve the remainder of his sentence. Nelson Mandela spent in total 27 years in prison as a political prisoner who was against the oppressive system of apartheid. He was released from prison in 1990 and became the first democratically elected president of South Africa in 1994. I remember when Nelson Mandela was released from prison. I also remember 1994 when I, as a black person, voted for the first time in my own country. Those are moments you carry with you for the rest of your life. I lived under apartheid. So, this freedom that we enjoy today, I do not take for granted because I remember how life was like living under apartheid. I still remember so clearly when I was much younger, we went on a family holiday to the KwaZulu Natal Richards Bay area. We went to the beach. When we got to the beach, there was a sign that clearly said, "No blacks allowed, Europeans only." We defiantly tried to gain access to the beach. Then a white Afrikaner man approached us, pointed out the sign to us, and told us we cannot enter. This is in Africa, and we are Africans. The generation of Nelson Mandela did the best that they knew to do. They played their part. Now it is up to us as Africans to build Africa. South Africa didn't get to where it is today by its own. We relied on the support of other African countries. So, as Africa, We need to come together and build our continent. The world would be a totally different place if Africa was united with all the wealth, the resources, the minerals that we have on this continent. The project of colonialism has succeeded in keeping us divided and in teaching us self-hatred. That's why you have things like Black Twitter. I heard somebody describe X as the dark place formerly known as Twitter. Recently, an African broadcaster said, "We are still preoccupied with tribal wars." It so resonated with me. Here we are in the 21st century, still preoccupied with nonsensical things. Things like which tribe is superior and which one is inferior. Africans, Black Africans, for instance, in South Africa, still earn the lowest when it comes to income. Decades after apartheid ended, white people in South Africa still earn the highest when it comes to income, which means their quality of life is better than that of a Black African. Those are the critical areas we need to be addressing. The economic development of Africans. Ask yourself, what role am I playing in uplifting and building my community? And be proud of your African identity and heritage. We spent about 30 minutes at the restaurant just having drinks. I didn't film there because it was quite busy. This is a short drive from Table Mountain. We are at Signal Hill to enjoy the views. There's also a clear view of Robben Island from here. A gorgeous, gorgeous view. So let's spend some time at Signal Hill before we go to lunch. decided to have lunch at Mama Africa, an African restaurant. I love the vibe in here. They even have a live band. I was so excited to see Mopane worms on the menu. This is how excited I am. I have not had Mopane worms in a while, so, well, in years to be quite honest. My tour guide also eats Mopane worms, so we were both excited. We both decided to have pap. Pap is the main staple food in South Africa. It is made out of maize flour. And then here are mopane worms. And then hard body chicken. That is what we call organic free range chicken. We also ordered some spinach. The Mopane worms are so good. They've got like a little bit of a hot spice, so they have that hot chili kick in them. Absolutely delicious. The food here is a 10 out of 10. Be sure to visit this restaurant. You will get to eat some organic, wholesome African food. And try Mopane worms while you're at it, okay? I promise they won't bite. During colonial rule, this area was known as the Malay Quarter. It was a racially segregated area. A large percentage of the residents here, over 50%, are Muslims. South Africa is a diverse, inclusive society. Colonialism contributed to the diverse nature of South Africa when it comes to the different races. Slaves and indentured laborers were brought in from Asian countries, countries such as India and Indonesia. They were brought in to do agricultural work, build railroads, and so forth. My next episode will explore more about the makeup of South African society. The main racial groupings in South Africa are black, like me, colored, like Tyler, the singer of the popular song Water. Tyler arrived on the global stage and she said she is colored, and it caused quite an uproar. But in South Africa, she is colored, she is not black. Colored people have their own identity and culture. And then we have Indians, people of Asian descent, and then we have white people, people of European descent. So those are the four main racial groupings in South Africa. Of course, there are issues when it comes to racial classifications that now need to be addressed. For instance, the Khoi and the San are also indigenous to South Africa, and that is their identity. However, when you fill in forms, there is no checkbox for Khoi and San. There is a checkbox for colored. These racial classifications come from colonial rule. It was an easy way to classify and manage people. South Africa also has a small population of Chinese people. However, it is the largest population of Chinese people in Africa. South Africa has 12 official languages. Included is South African Sign Language as well as Afrikaans, the language of white Afrikaners, the descendants of Dutch settlers who colonized South Africa. The language that is used for business and commerce is English. The South African Constitution says South Africa belongs to all who live in it. Please don't forget to subscribe if you find value in my content. Thank you so much for watching the vlog. I truly appreciate your support. I will see you next time. Take care and may God bless you.